world, where they try to find solutions for the world to quote-unquote improve it.
That's so funny. Improve it. The sad death of physical media. Now, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Apparently, there's this whole thing going on where, like, Sony is completely, like, stopping the production of, like, you know, discs, physical media, disc, right? Which, like, me, myself, like, I don't really buy, like, disc. Like, whenever I buy a video game, it's always online. Like, just keep it a bean. And, like, the problem with that, the only problem that I have with that is, like, at any time, that company that you're buying that game from, they could just take it away and not give you a refund. Like, you basically don't have full ownership of that game. You know what I'm saying? And that's like the biggest problem that I have with like the whole like physical media being taken away from like our, you know, our like gaming, you know, shit. But anyways, bro, you know what I'm saying? Let's see what's going on, man.
I want you to picture this. It's Tuesday, September 17th.
Bro, what the fuck?
2013.
What the fuck on my screen?
This, like, most of my audience watching this wasn't children or too young.
What the fuck? Okay. My bad. Play the video!
Remember this night, low-key me included, but F it. It was a crispy September day, just like every other September day. Most people were going on with their regular lives, either going to school or work. But that night, humanity was gonna change and never be the same. GTA 5 was dropping. People were lining up hours before the release at midnight, making sure they called.
The craziest thing about GTA 6, I'm pretty sure you guys already know this, but like, they're releasing physical media, but they're not giving you the disc. They're like giving you like a fucking piece of paper. What the fuck?
Off school
or some shit.
The next day to bask in all of its gloriness for at least a full day. News reporters came out to interview people with their pre-game thoughts on how the game was gonna be. When the doors finally opened,
it was amazing.
Stampeded in like it was their final day on Earth. This was what people now call simpler times. Skip to a date that hasn't happened yet. Thursday, November 19th, 2026. The lines are empty and no one is waiting for some reason. The reason why? Rockstar has announced they're officially ditching a disc copy and GTA 6 won't come with one. And Sony clarified even more that they won't produce any more discs for PlayStation consoles starting officially in January 2028. Meaning the era of console discs, having a collection to flex on your friends with the magic game binder, showing how much you're better than those bum-ass because you have a bigger collection than them, is officially dead and has basically solidified that this century will be the end of most physical media. And I'd be lying to you if I said it doesn't break my heart. At least to me,
it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme, because even when you buy disc games nowadays, you have to like download it because it doesn't have the full game on the disc, and you have to download it into your system because I guess like the disc can't hold all that data in one disc. So it's like, really, it's like, to me, it's like, it's not that big of a deal anyways, because it's like disc space. I'm pretty sure isn't like the disc it doesn't have enough storage capacity to hold a full modern day game or some shit like that.
Seems like Gen Z's first thing to see phased out and humanity evolve past it. And really, it's every generation. Everyone other than Gen Alpha always grew up with physical media around them. We all remember going to Redbox and renting a movie, then forgetting to return it and hoping your lawyers don't knock on the door. Or seeing ads about Gamefly and thinking it was the future.
Yo, I remember this shit, Gamefly.
I actually don't know a single soul who used it, but I assume the company—
I never used it.
Went bankrupt the same way as Redbox because no one returned stuff. One of the first—
That's the part that don't make sense to me, is like, why would you create a company like this when literally nobody— you don't have to return it, gang. You know
things that pops up in people's minds with seeing physical media diminish from society is you will own nothing and be happy. The origin of it is so wild for people that don't know it. It comes from the World Economic Forum, which is basically an international organization with the biggest leaders and people who shape the world, where they try to find solutions for the world to quote-unquote improve it.
That's so funny. Improve it.
This is supposed to be a positive organization in theory.
Yeah, sure.
All I think of when I see pictures like this, though, is the—
oh, brother.
With all of them menacingly looking at the camera. They made a presentation in 2016 saying you will own nothing and be happy, where they say products are replaced by services and people will need to rent or share everything they need.
Yeah, I wonder how long they're gonna get away with this kind of shit.
The worst quote by far is from the presenter who did it when she said, "Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. Imagine saying this with a straight face thinking everyone's gonna be like, sounds great. They basically pitched what Plankton did in the SpongeBob movie and hoped for a positive reception. And Loki has time.
Oh man.
They kind of weren't wrong with the timeline. Everything past 2016 has turned more and more into subscriptions. I mean, for God's sake, they're releasing a car where in order to get the full horsepower of it, you gotta pay a subscription.
What the fuck? No, that's crazy. Hell nah. You're bugging. Nah, you're actually tripping. You're actually tripping. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's nasty. That's nasty. That's nasty. That's nasty. Hey, you don't get the full horsepower? That's crazy.
Privacy concerns start to become worse as governments create more and more surveillance. The ultimate problem.
Yo, we cannot allow this shit to happen though. Deadass though. We can't. We can't do this, bro. Come on.
With physical game copies going away is the actual ownership. Because some people
it's the ownership. Like they could literally take it away and be like, yeah, we won't refund you.
Defended saying, who cares anyways? We all buy digital copies now. And I will say that is true. A majority of people aren't driving to the store to buy every brand new game that comes out. But when you buy games at a lot of these companies, you're never actually owning the game. If you buy a game from the PlayStation Store, Microsoft Store, Nintendo Store, and yes, even Steam Store, they're all licensed and not owned, unlike a physical copy. Most of the time, it may not be a problem to have the digital copy, but best believe when there is a problem, there's essentially nothing you can do and you're at the mercy of these companies. Nothing proved this more in 2023 with PlayStation and their Discovery TV controversy. Back in 2020,
yeah, I remember this. So basically what they did is like if you bought anything from like the Discovery Channel, like any movies or anything like that, they basically made it so that you can't watch those movies anymore and they didn't refund you. So
23, Sony told its users that because of a licensing disagreement with Discovery TV, that anybody who purchased Discovery TV shows or movies would have the content removed as Sony wouldn't have the license anymore. And there were some pretty big shows on that list, including Mythbusters, Cake Boss, and Naked and Afraid, How It's Made. In total, it would have been 1,318 seasons of TV shows completely wiped from anybody who owned them. Imagine being that one dude that bought like 50 seasons of different shows.
And like, bro, imagine buying it right before this happened and then you lose all that money. Like you buy 50 seasons of different shows right before they took it down. That's crazy.
It crashed out and wreaked havoc at Sony HQ. When this happened, it confirmed everything true people suspected, that companies at any moment could completely fry a product you quote unquote own. And there would be a more than likely chance you wouldn't get a refund. Now, luckily, because of all the backlash they got for this, Sony announced they reached an agreement, so everyone kept their stuff. But that's just for now. Funny thing is, doing research for this video, last month Sony told all its UK users that 551 movies and TV shows for a company named Studio Canal are getting removed in September 2026 because they're losing the license. This one didn't make as much noise, so they probably didn't care to fight it and let it die. But I hope y'all know this is just gonna happen more and more. So even if you're not someone that cares about physical media as much anymore, you should understand why it's needed. It's also happened for games, like a game called The Crew, for example. Ubisoft sold the game for full price to people, and after it didn't do as well as they wanted, they decided to delist it in 2023, and in 2024 they shut down all of the servers. Then right after that, they started yanking the license from people with 0 refunds. This is why they don't want shit in person, because if that was me, I'm not going down without a fight. I'm gonna tell a Ubisoft employee
that's a whole ass fucking $60-$80 game, bro, down the fucking drain, bro.
To square up and fight for my copy. I'm keeping it, goddammit. Then instead of hitting people with an apology, maybe giving them refunds for—
But it's Ubisoft though, so Ubisoft can actually go fuck itself. Actually,
something they bought. Ubisoft doubled down, telling people that you can't complain about what they did because you never owned it. I mean, they're not even hiding the agenda at this point. This shit more rigged than a referee in any World Cup game Messi plays. Because of all of this happening, people have come up with a slogan to fight back. If buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. Whoever made this gotta get 5 golden stars, because there's no defense these companies can say. Whenever someone downloads a copy of—
you need a Nobel Peace Prize, my nigga. That's what you get. That's what you need. You need a Nobel Peace Prize.
Their
That's
game
what you
and
deserve.
doesn't buy it, they say it's illegal and the person should be fined because it's stealing. But when you buy something that's bought with the thought of its ownership, they can take it away and say you never owned it. They're pretty much that meme of the person spamming easy, and as soon as they get one clap back, they say you're being toxic. At the end of the day, no one is buying these game copies thinking it's just a rental. If you wanted to rent it, then you would just rent it. The reason I say this is because you'll see.
And then they charge crazy for these games too. Like $80 is fucking insane.
People defend these companies saying,
well, you should have just read the terms.
Yeah, tell that to Facebook when you don't read their 200 pages of terms and conditions. Then when they sell your personal data to like 100 different companies just to come back saying you should have just read the terms. After that company gets hacked who bought your data, now all your emails and passwords are leaked. That's actually how it works a lot of the times, by the way, but nah, it's your fault for not reading 200 pages of dog shit. The company who maliciously sold your data for profit is not at fault at all. Worst part is you couldn't even successfully sue these companies because they're technically right. You signed an agreement saying you just licensed the product and don't own it. This wouldn't be as much a problem if these companies gave refunds all the time or required it.
These people are so fucking ugly. Get these niggas on my fucking screen.
I think it still would be good to have.
Get on my screen! Thank you!
It gets taken off shelves for
I hate looking at these fucking
reasons,
people.
Which physical copies help with. Like as an example, Steam is probably the most nice when it comes to this.
Oh yeah.
There's a John Wick game that they decided to remove, but instead they delisted it from Steam, and people who bought the copy still have that copy so they can play the game when they want to. Steam
Oh, okay.
So far hasn't had.
Steam's not too bad though. Steam's actually pretty chill. Steam's pretty chill. They let you do refunds on games that you beat in less than 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Of course, you can take advantage of that shit, which I do think sometimes Steam is a little bit too nice, in my opinion. But like, yeah.
Some incident like Ubisoft or Sony, but to be fair, who knows what will happen in the future. Also, another thing people don't think about is how much used games help people. If everything is digital, you're not gonna have the classic of being broken down bad. Then buying some used copy that may have had some rip marks on the box and suspicious stains. Hey, I'm not gay, but $20 is $20, as the saying goes. It made you as the buyer have more power because you could buy a new game when it comes out for 60 bucks, then maybe resell it for $40 or trade it in, and get the next new game for half off. It was pretty much its own economy, and it was a win-win. You had a used game that you could sell to somebody that never played it for cheaper, and you could take their money and trade it in for a newer game. I understand that GameStop would give you a solid 90% less money than what the game costed if you traded it in with them. But shit.
Bruh, if I traded in my iPhone 14 to fucking GameStop, they giving me $30, nigga. Come on, bruh. Fuck out of here, bruh.
Some money back is better than no money. You could also lend games to your friends or trade games with your friends.
I mean, you could kind of do that, but I mean, not really.
We have them actually give the game back, or y'all were not on speaking terms until further notice. I still haven't talked to this in 3rd grade that never gave my SpongeBob movie game back to me. Hope he's doing terrible in life. For a lot of poor kids, this will be their Game Pass and main way they got games. The best bet they have now is if the game studio decides to put games on sale, or getting the Xbox Game Pass, which even that won't have everything they want. Companies are known to keep game prices high no matter how old the game is. Removing physical
especially Nintendo games, they'll re-release they'll re-release a game that was made like 15 years ago for $80. I swear to God. But it's on the Switch too, though. It's on the Switch too. That's why. It's because it's on the Switch too. And it's like, bro, what the fuck? It's so bullshit. And Nintendo's like the worst out of all these gaming companies, in my opinion. I think Nintendo is the worst.
Copies is only to benefit
Nintendo's the worst.
It's not like they even have to make a mass amount than they have them potentially not sell on shelves. They could make them on order and ship them to people, but they're choosing not to because they know what's smarter for money. I'll end it off with, even though things like this happening are sad, I don't think physical media is truly out yet. People will always appreciate physical value of media.
Right.
And a lot of people are even fighting back by getting more physical things. An example is vinyls, which saw an increase.
Oh yeah. Vinyls have like blown up recently. I don't know why, but they've blown the fuck up.
Of more people buying them. Even though it's mainly for the aesthetic and not to take out the big ass disc and play music on it, it's better than nothing, alright? At least people are buying physical media. Also, people are still buying things like manga or books because they want a cool looking collection. So humanity hasn't fully given up to digital media yet. And my hope is we could have a good balance of both, because if we had all digital media, I hope y'all know these companies will be the most scummy, greedy pieces of shit all.
But we wouldn't allow that to happen. Us as a society, we're not gonna like sit back and like allow a bunch of CEOs and billionaires fuck us over. We're not gonna do that, right? We're not gonna do that, right? Huh? Nah, for real though. Like, I don't have a problem with this because I don't have disc games or like disc. Like, let's be honest. And most people probably buy games digitally anyways. The only thing is like the whole ownership shit, because it's like you don't truly own it, right? Like, you don't truly like own it. You know what I'm saying? Because they could just take it off the fucking shit any second, and they could just be like, no, well, technically it's a license, and you know, when you sign that contract, you know what I'm saying, we could do it. So yeah, you know, and it's like it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's bullshit, but you know what I mean. Anyways, man, I hope you have a good breakfast, a good dinner, good night, man, bro. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait for GTA 6 to come out. I love y'all, man. Peace.